When you reach a point where the identity you have lived with no longer fits, it is a clear sign that you are evolving. Redefining yourself is not about abandoning your past. It is about integrating what you have learned and stepping into a new frequency. The version of you that got you here is not the version of you that will take you where you are meant to go. If you feel disconnected from who you once were, it is time to embrace the transformation that is already happening. You are not losing yourself. You are becoming more of who you were always meant to be. The first step is recognizing that outgrowing an identity is a sign of expansion, not loss. Holding on to who you were out of comfort or fear keeps you in a loop. If you feel stuck between the old and the new, it is because you are still holding on to a version of yourself that is no longer aligned with your highest path. Every identity you have lived served a purpose. It taught you something, shaped your journey, and led you to this moment. You do not need to reject your past, but you also do not need to be defined by it. You are allowed to release what no longer feels true for you and step into the next phase of your evolution. Many of the identities we create are shaped by how others see us, what they expect from us, or how we have been conditioned to show up in the world. If you have been defined by illness, struggle, or past experiences, you may unconsciously cling to those labels because they feel familiar. Even if an identity is painful, it can still feel safe because it is what you have always known. You do not owe anyone the old version of you. You do not need to explain your growth or prove that you have changed. You are allowed to evolve even if others do not understand it. Your identity is not fixed. It is fluid, and you have the power to redefine it as many times as you need. If you feel uncertain about who you are becoming, it is because you are in a phase of discovery. The best way to move through this is to strip away external expectations and ask yourself who you are when no one else is watching. When you remove the need for validation, you create space for authenticity. If you do not consciously redefine yourself, you will unconsciously recreate the same reality. You get to decide what this next chapter looks like. You are not lost. You are simply in the space between who you were and who you are becoming. Instead of telling yourself that you do not know who you are anymore, shift your perspective to one of curiosity. You are discovering new layers of yourself. You are uncovering parts of you that were always there, but have been waiting to be fully expressed. You are stepping into a new way of being, and you get to choose what that looks like. Every story you tell yourself about who you are reinforces an identity. If you want to redefine yourself, you must tell a different story. The moment you decide that you are no longer the person who hesitates, doubts, or plays small, everything begins to shift. Your new identity is already available to you. You just have to claim it. To redefine yourself, you must start acting, thinking, and making decisions from your new identity before it fully feels real. The mind does not change through thought alone. It changes through action. The fastest way to shift your identity is to embody the energy of the version of you that already exists in a higher timeline. Ask yourself how the next version of you speaks, carries themselves, and moves through the world. Make decisions as if you are already that version. Take actions that align with the identity you are stepping into. The more you reinforce this through your daily choices, the faster your transformation solidifies. You are not defined by your past struggles, your mistakes, or the limitations you once believed in. You are not bound by old habits, fears, or the stories that kept you small. The only thing keeping you in an outdated version of yourself is the belief that you must hold on to it. If you feel resistance to letting go, remind yourself that your past self is not being erased. It is being integrated into something greater. You do not need to reject any part of your journey. You only need to release what no longer resonates with who you are becoming. Your next level requires you to fully embody the frequency of who you are becoming. This means no longer explaining yourself to those who do not understand your evolution. This means no longer waiting for permission to change. This means no longer fearing the unknown, because you are the one creating it. You do not need to have all the answers to step forward. You only need to trust that the new version of you is already here. Your past self got you to this moment. Your future self is waiting for you to align with them. The only way to bridge the gap is to move forward as if you are already there. Instead of looking back, ask yourself who you are becoming. Choose to embody that version of you now. If this message resonated with you, take a deep breath, and step forward into the version of yourself that is already waiting. You are not bound by the past. You are shifting, evolving, and stepping into something greater. Every time you choose to align with your highest self, you create a new reality. If you're ready to release what no longer serves you and claim your transformation, give this video a thumbs up and drop a fire emoji in the comments. Let me know what part of your journey you are stepping into next. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because when we rise together. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive into energy shifts, manifestation, and quantum transformation. Your next level reality is already waiting. Shift your frequency. Shift your reality with quantum vibes.